Hi, my name's Lee. Today I want to share with you my recipe for mushroom sauce. I have made this so many times and people just go crazy for it. It's just as much about the technique as it is about the ingredients. It won't take long for me to show you how to make this, and I'm sure you'll be very happy you watch this video. Okay, let's go. So the ingredients we'll be using is garlic, mushrooms, onions, tiny little bit of crushed chili, beef stock, cream, Worcestershire sauce and black pepper. Oh, and of course oil. Oh, and thyme as well. I'm using two sort of medium largish size onions, and what I want to do is just slice them. You don't have to dice. I like them actually sliced better than diced. So I just cut them in half and then slice them like so. That's it. So we'll put them in the pan on the heat, and then we'll chop our other ingredients. So put your stove on like a medium low heat. We don't want to cook the onions too fast. This is part of the secret. We want to cook them low and slow, and so they caramelize almost. So we put some oil or butter, in this case I'm using ghee, 2 or 3 tablespoons into the pot. Then we add our onions. The smell of fried onions is so inviting. So we're just going to cook that slowly for around about, I don't know, up to 10 minutes actually, until it all gets translucent and broken down. In the meantime, we'll chop up our other vegetables. So I'm using fresh garlic today. These are tiny little cloves. So about 2 or 3 big cloves of garlic, or about, that many small cloves of garlic. Or if you don't have that, feel free to use crushed garlic in a jar. So what I like to do is just break the garlic cloves open with the back of my hand and a knife, peel them. So keep an eye on your onions while you're chopping the rest of your ingredients. Just give them a stir from time to time. Sometimes just a little bit of salt can help the garlic break up more when you chop it. Right, we set that aside, and now we chop up our mushrooms. So I'm using half a kilo of button mushrooms here. So I like to slice them because I like slices of mushrooms in my sauce as opposed to diced little bits. So I just slice them like so. All done. Seems like a lot of mushrooms, but trust me, they break down to not much. So as I was chopping the mushrooms, I was intermittently stirring the onions, and they're on a low heat. So they've got another few minutes to go, another 5 minutes or so. I want them really soft and caramelised, but they're looking great. So the onions have been cooking for a good 10 minutes. I don't want them to go brown, they're just nice and soft. And by cooking them low and slow like this, it releases the sweetness of the onions, and it's so delicious. So now I'm just going to add the garlic that I cut up. It's up to you how much garlic you like to add. And all we want to do is cook that until we can smell it, until we can smell the garlic. So about a minute or so, until you can smell that lovely garlic flavour. And I can smell that garlic, so now I add the mushrooms. And we just want to put all the mushrooms in the pan. And these will take, probably, never really timed it, but about 15 minutes by the time we're finished cooking the mushrooms. So we just keep it on the low heat still, and now we just stir it intermittently, and what happens is the mushrooms will release water, and then we want the water to evaporate again until we get brown bits on the bottom. This will make our sauce so good, and this gives you the beautiful brown colour as well. So now it's just a waiting game. We just cook it on a medium low heat for at least 10 to 15 minutes. you'll see what happens. Actually, I forgot, this is where I add just a little bit of chili. I'm not wanting it hot, it just adds a little bit of a dimension to the sauce. And also I'm just adding like a quarter of a teaspoon of dried thyme. I don't want the flavour to override the mushrooms, but thyme and mushrooms go so well together. So now we just wait, let it cook down. So the mushrooms have been cooking for about 8 minutes, 10 minutes or so, and as you can see they're starting to really reduce. They'll get smaller than that, trust me. And they're releasing a lot of water. So we're just going to keep on cooking it until it's as dry as anything and there's loads of flavour on the bottom. So you see that all that liquid they're starting to release, but we want this sauce as flavoursome as we can get it, and that's why we cook them until their limit. So as your sauce continues to break down, the mushrooms continue to break down, just stir it every so often, and the closer we get to the juices coming out and then evaporating, the more you'll need to stir it. So the mushrooms have released all their juice and now we're drying it out. We're actually cooking it until all that juice is evaporated, until there's little brown bits on the bottom of the pan. Flavour, flavour, flavour. We're starting to get a little bit of action. There's some mixture that is sticking to the bottom of the pan, but we're going to cook them more. We're going to really dry them out. You need a little bit of patience to cook this sauce. It's so tempting to put the other ingredients in now, but I just know that the flavour comes from slow cooking the mushrooms and the onions and the garlic. So I'm starting to get some mixture sticking to the bottom of the pan is what I'm after, but I'll continue to cook it for as long as I can without it being burnt. This is definitely not a quick sauce. It's one that takes patience and a bit of time, but you will be rewarded. So that brown mixture that's sticking to the bottom is just absolute gold. It's such flavour. And we'll cook it even more. I'm scraping those brown bits off the bottom with my wooden spoon, mixing it back in the mixture. Right, so I think I've cooked it as long as I can without it burning. And now it comes together really quick from this point on. So we add 2 big teaspoons of beef stock and we stir that in. Now beef stock's salty, so I won't add salt, but if we find we need salt after we're finished, we can easily add that. Now I add about 1.5 cups of cream. You can use half cream, half milk if you like, but you know, this is a sauce, even though it's so tempting to drink it. You don't have the whole lot at once. But you know, to be honest with you, this is a beautiful recipe for mushroom sauce with pasta, and it will just make your steak taste so much nicer, or your pork chop, or your chicken. It's such a versatile sauce. So look at that colour. That colour is coming from all the browning that we did, the slow cooking. We're being rewarded with a beautiful colour, and of course the beef stock and the mushrooms. So what I do now is add some black pepper and give that a little stir, and a couple of teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. Oh, look how beautiful that looks. And that's done. If you had some fresh parsley, that's nice at the end, but I don't. But that's done, and it's time to taste it. I'll just turn off my stove. Now, taste your sauce. It might need salt and pepper. Haven't tasted it yet. Oh, so yum. So damn delicious this is. Huh? I've made it thousands of times, and every time that first taste still blows me away. You have to make it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.